thought maybe I would try something fun. So it's now you know, did some customizations on this. I'm gonna put like a wedge right there down at the bottom so that it have like a longer blade. Usually Naginatas have a little bit of a longer blade than that. And then, this one is going to have that, that same type of, hilt guard on it that this one had. So just a little bit, and I'm going to try to work on it. It's about as good as it will get for now, but that's pretty good. I managed to add that. I shrank down the hilt as good as I could, but now this thing is a beast, man. You should be able to, really work out your arms and still fight well with it, Now it looks a lot more like the real thing, a little bit. Okay, I just want everyone to know, now I got, 3 different types of weapons here. I mean, all wooden, This short one, equivalent to the... That's actually equivalent to the, to the wakizashi. The old wakizashi weapons, the swords I used to have, for the... That's what the ancient Ashigaru used to use. They would have a short sword, but they didn't have a long sword just yet. They weren't able to, they weren't permitted to carry a katana just yet. This would be more like a ninja form, I would guess, but it actually has a round hilt guard, so it's a lot more equivalent to the ancient chokuto weapon. It had a straight blade. The straight samurai swords were called chokutos or something like that, and everything of it was very straight, except it had, it's about the same thing as the Chinese tangdao, but it was it took the Japanese method called adding it was called clay tempering. Now, it left the blade as hard as it possibly could be. That way it would not break. It wouldn't break. It wouldn't shatter to pieces, if you know what I mean. But it was still during that time whenever the Japanese swords were still being, experimented on. Now, the Japanese tried making it out of all hard steel. By that time, they couldn't make it right. They couldn't do it right, because all hard steel will definitely just shatter to bits if it makes contact with another blade hard enough. Hits hard enough against another blade, it will break to pieces. So that's pretty dangerous to both the person wielding it as well as someone speeding down the street. It's just as dangerous to the person wielding it as the enemy, as it is for the enemy if it breaks to pieces, because you don't know where all those giant steel shards are going to be. That's pretty bad. You don't know where it's going to fly around, the pieces of metal, the steel that are going to fly around. If it hits you in the eyes or in the face, it's going to cut you very badly if it ends up shattering to bits. That's the problem I had during the combat. I went with the straight swords. There's very few of these types left. Very few. But now they've made actual replicas of these. Exact replicas. That, are made of the high carbon steel alloy. Now it's not really alloy because it's real steel, So, yeah, I think alloy would be actually more, would be more aluminum. So, you can tell here that it has a longer blade, so you can keep the enemy at bay, to really keep the enemy at a farther out reach than the last time. So that's pretty cool. I think it's better that way anyways. You just you're like that, So it still makes a good weapon for real melee combat and stuff like that. And of course this is really quite, good. It's very heavy. I'm glad I did it that way, because it needed a hilt guard. It did. Now, I have something I can really train with for a while, it's going to last a long time. So, It's really quite nice. So it's pretty good. Anyways, Concar Badger signing off. And that looks cool. Yeah.